It's like thunder, lightning. The way you love me is frightening. You better knock on wood, baby, because guess who's at the door? It's the Gloves Off Podcast, your one-stop shop for all Super Smash Brothers news here in the northeastern area. I'm one of your hosts for the week, as always, Master Hand Games Koopa, joined as always by the thunder to my lightning, or other way around. Mr. Chris EX, what's up, man?
Not too much, man. I wish I was able to make like thunder sound effects a little effectively, but it would just sound really it sounds so obnoxious if I did. If I could come in with like a storm sound, though, I really would have.
That would have been fantastic. And joining us as always is Gloves Off correspondent Zone. What's up, man?
That's good. Glad to be here.
Happy to have you. And joining us for the first time, the not just a fan of the podcast, a friend of the podcast, the only friend of the podcast. We have Midwest TO, and appropriate because we are going to be talking about a little bit of Smash and Splash later on. It's Rickles. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, what's up? I'm glad to be here, and more than just Twitch chat this time.
Dude, this has been a long time coming because I feel like Rickles was like the first person to actually like regularly watch from frame one was just like, oh, this is cool, and then it's just always been chilling. And then like I know like we've talked like Rick, I know we've talked like a ton like kind of just like there's always like ideas in terms of like how to integrate stuff, but this feels like a pretty good first step to like actually doing stuff. So glad to have you for sure.
I'm happy to be here. Absolutely, it's gonna be sick.
Never meet your heroes. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. Sorry to break it to you.
I don't know, my fans.
But yeah, today's kind of a fun show because we have like literally a textbook example of something we've talked about a ton on this podcast, which has been basically funding and money in esports and what that looks like, where the money goes, and like how all that stuff is allocated. We've done stuff with this like when we first started the podcast way back in like kind of I guess it was an old format to some degree, like where we had more like general topical stuff. And then we've, since got a little bit more specific since Ultimate started because there's specific things to talk about. So I really am happy that something like this popped up out of nowhere. And let's just hop right into it. Had a ton of money invested into it and maybe not in all of the right places, which is something we have seen quite a bit because in case you missed it, the tournament kind of looked like rubbish, even though there was like about, essentially the best players you could think of and some of the best commentators in the business. But the whole thing just looked like, I don't know, baby's first stream. I'll just say it.
Yeah. So, but just before we get too far down this rabbit hole, we are talking about the Thunder Studios Thunder Smash tournament this weekend, which had, and they'll make sure to tell you multiple times throughout the broadcast. First place got $20,000.
$20,000, you say?
Yeah, and they make sure to remind you multiple times.
Actual cash too, man. Actual cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently.
I was not informed that it was cash, but that definitely ups my opinion of the overall organization.
Yeah, post grand finals, HBox came up and just gave him a whole wad of cash.
God, that whole scene is amazing. I'm gonna find it real quick.
He gave the Buzz
surreal.
20 stacks of $2,000,
dude.
Which is so funny.
It was like I felt like I was watching a game show. Like the expressions in everyone's face, like the money literally just being handed, like hand over fist to the Buzz as he's sitting there with like his mouth gaping open. Like it was. I was confused. I was just like, is this a tournament? Is this like? It reminded me of like Fast Money from like Family Feud. It was just the whole thing was very strange. Hold on, I almost had it. There we go. So
that's cash. That's tax free. We out here.
So here's the reality though. So winner takes all, of course. I didn't get to actually watch much of.
Well, winner takes most. Let's be real here. Grand finals was pretty much an $18,000 money match because second place second place got significantly less than first place in this tournament.
Yeah, there was a scene where like MVD like slammed the table during grands, And I was like, MVD doesn't usually do that. But then I thought about it and I was like, if he loses this, that's $16,000 that he didn't get.
Dude, he was a little bit angry, yeah. And that was the best part about that was it wasn't before he lost. It was on a bracket reset, and it was after game 2 of the bracket reset, I believe, or game 1, whatever it was. I'm assuming it was best of 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, because I'm noticing that the scoreboard is not updated for this very big prestigious tournament. So that's yeah. So anyways, as you can see, nothing really too flashy in the way of presentation, but regardless.
Oh, here it is.
Yep, there's the infamous.
Oh, I mean,
dude, that's
a lot of money.
Dude, DeBuzz's reaction, look at him. His shoulders are kind of hunched forward. He's like, "Oh, geez, I'll just drink the sweater real quick." And MDD looks like he's about to like kill someone. I think that was the moment that MDD's just like, "Well, I guess this is over," because at the end, he it looks like he lost already. But anyways.
I don't mean to like laugh because like I know MVD, he's a really good guy, and we've all been there before. For like you're like super frustrated, and you pray to God that the cameras aren't on you. And production was kind of hit or miss for this event all weekend, and for the camera crews to be able to catch that like frame of it happening it was absolutely ridiculous. But honestly, good stuff on DeBuzz. You drop into losers. I think it was it before? Yeah, he dropped in quarters, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 3-0 to Wadi in quarters.
Oh, yeah, that's
all right. So watch this game show moment coming up. It's definitely. Is it not in this VOD? Am I gonna have to find another VOD? Oh man, yeah. I'm mad.
Yeah, right, I'm sure you can find the.
Yeah, I'll find it. I just thought that.
No, but whatever. Honestly, kudos to the Buzz, man. Dropping in quarters, 8 full sets to get like the tournament win.
Yeah, that takes a lot. Like, especially losing the quarters, and good shit to Wadi, because Wadi kind of washed him.
Especially having him have to play StarCraft the entire way up.
That is so funny when I saw that tweet. That is just so appropriate. But, yeah, so obviously there's a lot of stuff coming out about Thunder Smash when it was first announced. I don't remember exactly when it happened. I do remember sending in an email to them because I got tagged in a thread of the person running it being like, hey, I'm looking for talent to bring out to this, huge money invitational the first week of May. And I was like, let me kick the tires and see what's going on. And then obviously, push came to shove, didn't really hear back, but it was fine because I was still curious about what was happening. But the closer you got to the event, as you see the game show
look
moment.
at this.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa, right, what do I do with all this money? Like, look at this face,
right?
Look at this.
Oh my god.
And then HBox over here like a fucking game show host, and then this guy who I don't know who this guy is. He's a VIP though, and just like there's just all this weird stuff happening. Look, the mic has the Thunder Smash logo, but yet the overlay was just like I feel like someone just forgot. They were just like, oh wait, this has to look good. They got all the staging, they got like all the people there, everything's good. Like it's just the whole thing. The whole thing is just sort of surreal, because that's a lot of money going to one person for an event, right? And as we all know, the infrastructure for these things, for esports in general, kind of a mess, because the people who actually do a lot of the work are sort of hard to find. And I guess the result is like, you get someone who's like, okay, I just want all of these really good people, I want a good production, and I want to get attention around my brand. They don't really know anything, but they have the money, right? So then you just throw it at things. They're like, okay, well, just get me the best people. That gets all the attention. But then you get there and you realize that like you didn't do the full job, which would include getting like real production and just stuff like that. So it was like kind of like a case example.
Interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure like the day after the head TO, or maybe the organizer, the lead guy, he just sent out like a tweet saying, literally anyone comment on this thread saying how I could have improved my tournament and I'll take notes. And he was responding to pretty much everyone that responded to the tweet. So it at the very least shows his intent to make it better.
That is something. Yeah. That is definitely something.
Yeah, I thought that was like a good start at the very least, because like it was just strange because like usually when VGs and things are a lot like tighter, but like the stream layouts were kind of a mess. There was like multiple times where I'm watching and like the stream. They're like experimenting with like various stream layouts. Like this is the one that circulated its way around Twitter.
What is this?
I truly don't know what I'm looking at. I feel like I'm having a fever dream. But like,
hey guys, did you know winner takes all $20,000?
The way that they're stretching the gameplay, that's rough.
The whole thing is really quite a stretch as a whole. And it doesn't look like there is an overlay here, so I'm assuming they just had someone put something together last minute. Is that what happened?
I think so, because they couldn't get it to work, so they just had someone throw something together. And then afterwards, they're like, is this really a good idea? And then they turned it off. That's that, because I remember more of them not showing those two cameras than them showing it. So I'm pretty sure they thought it was a good idea, and then they're like, this doesn't look good, and turned it off.
Yeah, so I don't even see a scoreboard here.
Yeah, I tuned in like after the meme layout circulated around, and they had like one set where they tried using the player cams, and like one person was like way too dark, and the other person looked like they were being like microwaved to death in the other camera. So it was just like a mess. And then they eventually settled on that last layout we saw, and it was fine. Like for what it was worth, it was like it was the best out of everything you saw. But it was very clear that like a lot was obviously divvied up into the prize pool, but like there was just like skip steps and cut corners on production side of things. There was very awkward cuts back to the commentators, like things were taking too long. They interviewed a 10-year-old. Sky Williams was there for some reason. Not quite sure what that was.
So I feel like this whole thing, even like it's an invitational, and even having like Gimmer and bracket. Gimmer's fantastic. It's interesting. So my thought to this whole thing is like, okay, someone had the money, they want the cast of people there, right? They don't really know what's going on otherwise, and they don't have to because they don't have money. So I feel like this, or because they do have money, I feel like this kind of sets a precedent, right? So it's just like, it's very pay-to-play mentality. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be good, and that's sort of what I see in my mind. Right. And that's sort of the unfortunate part. Like, it's nice that everyone's trying to improve and things are like that, but it just makes me wonder, like, what the future actually looks like. Because if you're a player, obviously you're going to go to the events that could possibly yield the biggest sort of payout, and $20,000 is probably the biggest payout you'll really see. I don't know. I'm still sort of piecing it together personally.
See, I don't fully know about that either. I mean, this is just the beauty of all 5 months in. There's so much left, I think.
Yeah, because like the top players might go where there's a lot of money, but the people are going to remember a good tournament over whether or not they won. Like it's not really always about like what the top players go to, because like something like Smash and Splash like always gets like hundreds and hundreds of numbers, not because of like the top talent, but because of the memorable tournament itself.
Right. That was something I was going to bring up, that one of the various tweets I saw after the fact said that, like, while you don't want to come off as like a boys only club where like only there's like a set amount of prestige events every weekend and yada yada yada. Like, you like to see these new events kind of pop up and get the work in, but then like you run into a situation like this where like you see these you see this big company throwing money at the wall, hoping that investors will get involved just because it's a big pot. And then when nobody comes around, it's like, okay, well, now we have to kind of go for a refurbished take on some of these things. Whereas, like you said, you look at the legacy, like grassroots events like Smash and Splash and SmashCon, Shine to an extent now, because those events are always super popular and always, if you ask different people, like they'll be like, if you can only go to one event a year, which you'd be surprised to not hear one of those three. And I heard that at the door for this event was like fucking $90 or some shit like that.
Oh
like,
my god!
Like
dude.
this event had $20,000 on the line and like less than like 70 entrants or something. Correct. Like, it was absolutely insane.
So dude, like, okay, so think about that. It's. And then if you're VG Bootcamp, I guarantee you someone comes up to VG Bootcamp and is like, here's this bag full of money because they got it like that. And they're like, just put this on your channel. And then they're just like, okay. Like, totally. They don't have to worry about it. Gimmer is actually in the bracket, so he's busy playing. Like, there's no attention to be paid there from him. Like, it was just like a full-on just money dump. And then, so it makes me wonder where we go from here. So we'll probably see another one of these, I would imagine, because they're very deeply invested. But
They actually announced like during the middle of the tournament that they are having another one.
Of course.
The second one's an Arcadian.
But yeah, I was about to say, like, what is it and when? Because there's a precedent set by this with Royal Flush, where they're like, yeah, we'll do it again, and then like, push comes to shove, it didn't actually happen.
If I remember, it's going to be July 20th at the same venue, and it's Arcadian.
Yeah, so something like that is like
has a $5,000 pot bonus.
Yeah, they're obviously not going to put as much money into it because they want to gauge they just want to gauge something that like Royal Flush like didn't do well was. Well, I mean, they had more entrants, so like they had more entrants. They had the same like sort of like they had a smaller pot, more entrants, and they still went in the red. So like,
yeah,
I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, there's no way that they came out of this on top. But if they have the money to keep going, then by all means keep going.
So attention is essentially currency. I mean, that's just the exchange of time, and then outside of that you have money. And this was actually like an OG podcast we did, like where we kind of really dove into this. But I guess for me, I'm just like nothing really. What's that meme where it's like, nothing was gained, nothing like something like that. I can't think of the full thing. It was like on Twitter a while ago, but
is this a lost joke or something?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah, it might be, but in either case, like it's kind of the truth. So like, what actually happened here? You got sort of the main players that people recognize in one room for a minute, and then now what? What really gets built? Because these are the same guys that go to all the bigger events that are grassroots and sort of growing. So it's like you're literally at that point just paying to have people show up to some capacity, but without any real substance. And the problem with the lack there of substance is there's a ton of this stuff happening all over the world. So if you're someone who just has that money and you're like, okay, we get the initial attention and it's as easy as that, like I don't know. It's just sort of like goes against anything else that sort of gets built. And on like kind of like a personal level, it's a little disconcerting on that.
I feel like, at least from what I've seen from the management, it doesn't seem like he's okay with having a tournament with that much he doesn't want it to stay small. Like he's not okay with like just top level talent coming and taking the money. He wants more people to come. Like
of course. You don't start something not hoping for more people to come. I mean, of course.
Well, what I'm saying is like he doesn't hope for more top talent. He hopes for more numbers. Like he wants to it doesn't. Because like you were saying, like if you just throw money at it, the only people that are going to care about it are the people that are going to all the big events anyway. So I think he wants to change at least from what I gather, he wants to change his approach so that it's not as top heavy.
I mean, he's going to have to, because this seemed like a really heavy upfront investment. This was like that sort of like initial investment you make to get the attention. And sadly, the attention sort of led to being exposed a little bit. I don't know, man. I'm just looking at this.
Well, it's like the jokes kind of led on. Like I saw tons of people saying like this event's either going to be great or it's going to be Fire Festival, and everyone's going to show up. There's going to be evacuation tents to sleep in, and everyone's getting a cheese sandwich. The
thing is like the staging is beautiful. Like it's obviously there's a lot of money invested in this. It just makes me wonder how like I don't know. It's part of being a new esports company, and there's so many different things that esports companies could provide. I mean, like, MHD is technically an esports company, but, like, money funding is not there. Time funding, totally there. Not just from, like, myself, but, like, even, like, Koopa, every tournament you come in and commentate, or, even, like, as a player, like, Mezzi, like, think about the venue fees you pay, it all goes towards something. So then, like, it's tough to break even just on, like, a small little local level. So you think about an event like this with all the staging and everything else, they'd have to scale up a lot to figure that out. And I think sometimes when you have a lot of money and you're just like, okay, let's just get this started, you don't really consider that. So then you end up with this really big event with all this beautiful stuff, and your numbers kind of dip a little bit and you stress out, like as an investor. And that's probably what's going to happen because, was this in SoCal? I think I saw it was in the SoCal League.
Yeah, I was actually about to mention that's probably another reason why it went so far under the radar, is because people are not, at least in Ultimate, like the general, like aura, like people were the places that people want to go are the Midwest or Atlantic Northeast. They don't really want to go anywhere else. Like they don't really want to pay money to go anywhere else because that's where all the top talent is, at least in the States.
Well,
and Florida, quote unquote, but like Florida's one state. So
if you're going west, you're probably gonna go to the 2GG.
Yes,
It's like they don't want to pay money to go to California for something they don't know anything about.
Yeah, and there's no real indication that they're connected to anything. It's literally a pop-up event at that point because Rickles, as you just said, like you're going, if you're in SoCal, you immediately think 2GG. That's it. And 2GG is literally like the biggest entity outside of VG Bootcamp. So even if you're from 2GG, or I'm sorry, if you're from like SoCal, I don't know, like you would expect to see this kind of thing work on 2GG. Yet another thing that, like, if you're just kind of a dude with money, you don't realize. You're just like, okay, give me the biggest stream with the most views. We need to get this out there. Like, it just reeks of desperation, sort of.
Speaking of 2GG, this is pretty interesting that I'm on the Smash GG page. As it turns out, this is actually the same Thunder Studios where they had Hyrule Saga and 2GG event.
Oh, wow.
That is really interesting, as a matter of fact.
Well, I thought I recognized Thunder, so...
It could be possible that like they saw the success of 2GG and were like, let's try that. Let's try doing that.
Well, I think they actually own the venue. I think the guy that handed the wad of cash was the Thunder Studios owner.
Yeah, that's what I mean, in the sense that since an event was held at their venue and they saw success in it, they were like, we could get into this.
So what you're saying is lightning doesn't strike twice, but thunder does.
So hey, so I got so it's funny. Even with all this in mind, even with the 2GG stuff, because I know 2GG would historically host a lot of their events. Like MSM used to be an esports arena, and esports arena is obviously like, it's an arena, really, really good venue. And they don't really do it anymore. Esports arena sort of took it on their own. But if you check out the esports arena tournaments outside of 2GG, they're pretty modest. You know, they're just like a regular Smash event. It's hard to build up Smash channels. Like,
and they tried, and esports arena tried doing their own like Smash League circuit thing too, with like big cash prizes, and like those only got like 2 feet in the door before they eventually stopped coming out. So I think like smashers and like tournament goers are at least starting to like wise up at the very most, because like you said, the big money is always going to attract like the sponsored players because they're going to have the resources to be able to go to these things, even if like
get the money back from it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's always going to like attract, you know, your big name players. But like even so, like not every big name player showed up to this event. Even like Nairo didn't go, and like Mars didn't go. You know, players that usually are traveling on these big weekends, and forever what circumstances they might be. Like I think people are kind of wising up to the fact that like you don't have to like throw huge amounts of money into the pot, you know, to get these people to go to their tournaments. People seem to appreciate like I said, the more organically grown, like, you know, tournaments that are in their like 5th, 6th iterations at this point. So.
And, well, the thing is like, I don't know, man.
I'd say this is a good time for Rickles to chime in.
Yeah, I think so.
Just on that exact point that Kyle just made.
Go ahead.
Not listening. Kyle was talking about how you don't have to throw a bunch of money at tournaments in order to get people to come out. Like, people are more interested in organically grown tournaments that are in their like 5th or 6th iteration. So I was saying it was a good transition for you to start talking about like Retro Arena, for example.
Yeah, it's just I think we've already mentioned it, Smash and Splash earlier. I think that's the biggest contrast you could possibly look at. 70, not even a 70-person bracket in Thunder Smash. And then you have Smash and Splash with over 1,200 signed up. Last I checked, it was like 1,238 or something like that. And that's just for Ultimate alone. They have 2,500 signups between their 15 games. Or even if you just look at a one-game event, that's, I guess, for example, Midwest Arena or Retro Arena, we were hosting one game as the same thing as Thunder, you know. It just really comes to recognizing your audience. They did host stuff for 2GG before, and I think this is something that we're going to see a lot more of, as I mentioned. We're going to see a lot of it because with Ultimate and the excitement that Ultimate brings, we're going to see oversaturation, especially in the first summer of Smash.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Oh, yeah, the summer of Smash is coming.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, prepare yourselves for sure.
It's okay. I didn't like having free times on the weekends anyway.
Yeah, you know what I think what I like the least about this is the whole winner takes all mentality, and this actually leads really well into the kind of the subtopic, which is my overall mindset in the scene, because you see all the time players who get frustrated even just on a local level, maybe not getting the results they want, or feeling like, man, I go to all these tournaments, I pay all this money, I'm not getting anything out of it, or having people be like, man, with all this time I'm spending, I feel like, you know, I'm going the opposite way in my life, like just different stuff. Or even, you know, if you're a content creator like myself or a tournament organizer like Rickles, like there's you know, you go through the peaks and valleys of just like, man, like what is this actually? And then now you have a tournament that's like, okay, you fly out here, come to our tournament, really nice staging. We got all the fixins with the commentators and all the good players, but winner takes all.
Right.
And that whole mentality is, I sort of think it's toxic, because what happens if you're a player is you go out there and if you don't get first, you feel like shit. I mean, we saw MVD literally rage. I don't think we never see that.
No.
I
That
mean,
It's
I
not on
think
stream.
I think that they're trying to bring Ultimate into the, like, because Smash is historically grassroots, but they're trying to, like, because like what Thunder did is like not like, it's not foreign in like other esports, like
No.
for a random event to come up within like 2 weeks that has like thousands of dollars on the line. Like that's pretty common in other areas of esports. So I feel like what they're trying to do, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, is just have the same formula that other esports have, and just have these events that just have a bunch of money randomly, and people like eventually, if it becomes normalized, more people will go to it. But obviously something like this, people see it and they're like, oh my god, I'm not doing that. Like that it's scary, because it's
Yeah.
like you said, like they see like money and they're like, oh, first place only gets it, I'm not going to that. Like,
it just I
but
don't,
like if it becomes normalized, then people will be like, oh, so I have another chance at that, and you have another chance at that. It will become more more accessible if it becomes
Right.
normalized. I don't know if it will become normalized, because that's a lot of money for the Smash scene, but who knows?
No,
so.
I agree.
But then, like, that money feels like a dead investment, because that money is literally going to one player, and where does it go after it hits that one player? If it's going to James, you know it's going to Fire Emblem orbs. If it's going to Buzz, you know it's going to like Rosa plushies. Like, it's just like it's a dead investment. It's
It
literally a
is,
dead investment.
but not if these become frequent. Because
Yeah.
yes, DeBuzz might win today, but if there's another one in 3 weeks, then he might not win that one.
Well, that's
Like,
fine. So then, whoever wins, though, then what? There's no money going towards
as
any
long
scene building. There's like, that's how I feel about
as
it.
as long as it's not like, because like people are going to remember this for a long time. If this is the one tournament that this if this is the only tournament that this happens for like the next like year and a half, everyone's going to remember that the Buzz like walked away with 20K. But like if someone else does it, then they're not just going to remember that the Buzz walked away with 20K. They're going to remember like Mars, maybe like MKLeo. Like if it becomes more frequent, then it'll become less of an anomaly.
But I just feel
Like
like, how can it become more frequent
even
if like you can't, like, think about that money and just putting this venue together? Like, how do you get the return? Like, where's the return?
how that's the thing that I don't necessarily know if they actually need that return. Like that's where the question is do they actually need that return to do it again?
Right.
Like, I don't know where the money is coming from, but if they can still do it, if they can make it frequent, then this is not a bad idea.
Well,
But if
they're
they can't, then it is a dead investment, because like,
well
what do
they're
you expect?
well they're already dropping down to $5,000 for the next prize pool. Granted, it's an Arcadian.
That's
That's
what I mean.
that's a
Yeah.
quarter of this initial prize pool, which means that the money probably isn't like it's obviously in bulk enough to have. And to put out there, but it's not like you know, you're not seeing another 20K thing. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, this is the normal now, even though
I don't
they
think it's
Yeah.
set that.
And I don't think that's nearly gonna be the same as, say, like, I think a better example in Smash 4 would be GTX, where year one was 30K. MKLeo won that over Elegant. Then the very next year, nobody even watched it, and it was like there was like Pandarian or like Louis Money or something in Grand Final. I forget.
Yeah. I think that was more of a product of like Smash 4 was on the way out, and everybody was like, why am I gonna like pay all this money to go to this event for a game that's not gonna matter in like,
4 weeks.
4 weeks. But like I agree with everything you guys are saying, and I think it's backtracking what Messi said before. Also, fun fact: the Buzz said that he plans on using the money that he won to help source like Wi-Fi warriors to go to tournaments,
Right.
which I think is absolutely fantastic.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
because
I
you
know
saw
Wi-Fi
Nairo,
tournaments.
because
Nice.
you saw Nairo do that around like Evo time, where like he funded for players like Ken to come out, and that's how kind of Ken got his first taste into the States. And fun fact, I think Nairo actually eliminated Ken at that Evo. So
A
GG's.
lot of cash. Let's go.
Yeah, but you've seen Nairo do this before, where like he'll run community Wi-Fi tournaments to get people funded trips to go to these events, and I think that is a nice investment for the buzz. But I think it goes back to what Mezzi said.
Are those wads of tens? Sorry, I'm not.
I think
They were
100.
20s, I think. I saw.
That's definitely a $10 bill. But anyway, sorry, go on. I did not mean to cut you off. That's funny.
So it's all good. I can look at that for the rest of my life.
Oh wait. Well, with that in mind, here you go.
It's
Dude, look at this Team Liquid jerseys, wads of $10. DeBuzz's like goofy smile. What more could you want? Right?
More like team liquidation, am I right?
oh man.
But like, yeah, I think going back to like what Mezzi said earlier about how like the guy that ran the event was immediately like looking for feedback. I think that's a good sign. Like, I obviously David brought it up on commentary at one point. There was one of the hired analysts where he was like, you look at the size, you look at the amount of money on the line, and you think, man, there'd be a lot more people here. So like everybody was like very self-aware of the fact that like things were kind of like barren, and I think I wouldn't have shot out the gate with like the $20,000 tournament. I think that back to the episode of SpongeBob where Patrick wants to win an award and SpongeBob keeps telling him to like think smaller instead of like conquering the 8th dimension and saving all the monkey people. So like I feel like if they kind of started a little bit more like organically, then like people would have been more well received to it, and like maybe not make at the door registration fucking $1 bajillion. That would have helped too to get more of your local talent out. So I think there's an avenue for this to work. Like both of you were saying, but like it just needs to be like done properly, because we've all, like I said, I think people are just wising up to the fact that you can't just shake around the shiny keys and expect everybody to cooperate.
And I'm really with that too. If you just look at the pricing structure to begin with, like first taking 20,000, second taking 2,100, man, I spent like the last weekend talking about it with 8-Bit Man, because he's a real stickler when it comes to like correct pricing payouts and pricing structure. So that's like a 70% to 8% deficit. But I think the best parallel we can make out of this is like literally make the parallel from, instead of like this running this event, to actually being a competitor. Like imagine going to your first Smash tournament. Like you can tell them to jump, but you got to tell them they have to up B after they jump if they want to recover. So imagine, if they do a second one, it can't possibly like be less structured than the first one, right?
Well, no, you'd really. I mean, it sounds like they're looking for the feedback. They're obviously going to learn from all of the things and remarks via Twitter. Like, they'll learn from this, and obviously, I would be inclined to say they'll even pay for the things to make it better. Whether it be better production or whatever the case may be. But that's how I feel about it. Like it's just like,
yeah,
because. Well, how do you start organic these days, right? Like, how do you start organic? That's how I feel about it. So it's like, unless you're ready to make like what do you do?
I was gonna say start local. Look at your local scene.
But the thing is like, there's already locals in SoCal. So if you're if you're like Thunder Smash, you have to be like, okay, maybe I'll go to another part of California, or maybe I'll go to, God bless you, or maybe I'll go to like, oh, okay, well, God bless you, anyways, or maybe you just do something else. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like. I don't know. It seems like such a crazy use of money to me, as someone who is like, man, I could probably do a lot of stuff with that money, like locally. But that's a personal problem, quite honestly. But I do kind of want to get a little bit into the top mindset discussion, because things do get a little cutthroat when you put money on the line, as we kind of saw, and it's really easy to lose focus as a player, because innately. Smash is one of those things where it has so much passion around it and people love it. And, it's got such a hold on so many people for so many different reasons. But it's really easy to go south from there when you either, 1, overindulge in it, 2, kind of forget you have a whole rest of your life to live, and 3, kind of get caught up in things like money, where you feel like you need to be getting a payout in order to make that time worthwhile for you.
Right. So I've had a couple of thoughts on this. Just because I've been seeing it a lot more recently, like especially with like people that I'm like pretty close friends with, like people that I never see get angry, like getting really angry, like playing Smash to the point where like it doesn't even look like they're having fun anymore. And like I feel like because, and I guess I don't know how you guys feel about this. This is just how I'm gauging the temperature. But the rapid like esportsification of Smash, I feel like it's kind of like sucked the magic away for some people. Because like when things are a lot more grassroots, like you're just kind of getting better with your friends, you're hanging out, like you're not really worrying too much. Like everybody's just kind of in it to like improve. Where I feel like because Ultimate got off like to such a hot start, like it was very clear that this game was going places. I feel like everybody like goes from a mentality where they don't want to like improve or like learn from what happened versus they're just trying to like not lose and like kind of tread water and stay afloat. Because like I see it a lot from like and I don't know if that's just a product of like early meta stuff or what, but like I've seen like too many people that I'm like very close friends with just get like brutally upset.
I think,
and like it's really hard to watch.
I was just gonna say I think it's a product of. I was just gonna say I think it's a product of a young player base, kind of lack of figureheads that really approach these sort of things, and quite honestly, like this exact issue we're talking about, does not happen seemingly in Japan to the extent it happens here, and the reason is because they don't compete for money over there. Like it's that's a common issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say I pretty much agree with Kyle completely in that like the whole esportsification of Smash has kind of like drained a bit of because like I mean someone like me in specific, like I've never played this game to like get a single dollar from it, so like the aura that Smash Ultimate has is just not as like welcoming for me competitively as it was in Smash 4, but like it's weird because like as a game, like I like Ultimate more. It's just competing with it is like way more stressful because it's like, oh, everyone's here to like win, like become something, make a name out of themselves in this game, instead of like playing for quote unquote fun and like hanging out and like community stuff. Like it's I think like the biggest eye opener for me was actually the Arcadian, because like I went there expecting there to be like 50 people tops. And then there was like 130, and I was like, "Who are all these people?" Like, it was like, "Oh my god, this is happening!" Like, where like it's just that big that like you go to an event and suddenly there's like 100 people you don't know, and it's like, "Oh, well, this is cool, I guess."
That happened this weekend at Platinum Star. I was really hoping for 60 people this weekend because speaking of that Arcadian, which had like 140 people. I was just like, it's 2 weeks, just 2 weeks in between. Didn't really get to advertise it much. Kind of dropped the ball. I don't know if anyone was going to want to come out. And before you know it, 100 people in Platinum Star on Saturday. Kind of just like real quick. And I'm really grateful for that because the reality is people really love that venue and really love to hang out for the day there because it's very comfortable. And that is sort of a value in itself. And to me, and on like a very corny after school sentiment, I feel like that's kind of worth more than money because there's actually some growth there. You're not just getting names and you're not just getting like, okay, what gets attention. You're literally building the attention. You're building the players. And that's sort of the kind of thing that I like to see, and sort of the thing that, when people start to go south mindset wise, I kind of like to bring up. Like, money's motivating always. Like, you're more likely to do something or be accountable for something if you're making money. No question. And if you're spending a lot of time on something and you feel like in that kind of sense of entitlement that like, oh, I should be making money or whatever the case may be, that kind of works in the opposite, because then you're kind of focused on like not necessarily why you're playing, but like what should be happening outside of it, to a point where you just end up not doing it at all. And I honestly, it's, you're traditional, you hate to see it, but you literally do hate to see it. Like it's depressing. And that's kind of one of those things that I think needs more attention than anything else, because seeing someone maybe not get the results they want enough to like decide they don't want to play the game for a while is understandable, but it stinks when it leads to maybe either dropping the game completely or forgetting why you play in the first place, which is, let's be real, guys. I mean, Rickles, you build a local scene yourself. Mezzy, Koopa, we've been doing this in New Jersey for a while. People come to hang out with friends.
Actually, I've been doing it in both places, but
that's true. It's true. You've been doing it in both places. You've seen it on a couple different ends. There's just so much that drives this stuff, and That's sort of the backbone to it. And if you want to know my real sentiments on esports in general, it's all a crock, man. It's all modeled off of main sports now. And when you really think about like a mainstream, like actual sport, be it football, baseball, basketball, whatever, the bulk of people who play those things outside of the pro level, which is like, the 1% of players, don't make money, even college. You might get like an education out of it via scholarship, but you're not making money. You're doing it for the growth. You're doing it because it's something you enjoy. You're doing it because there's like camaraderie and you're making friends and relationships and you're literally accountable for improving in something, which kind of scales to everything in your life. So when you kind of just get caught in money and thinking like, oh, I should be getting money because I'm really good, it's just not conducive to growth in any way for anyone, the scene, yourself, friends, whatever. So I don't know, like even something like Thunder Smash sort of makes me feel like, and nothing wrong with them. I'm not trying to say like, oh, whatever, they're toxic because they're doing XYZ. I just think it's something that really needs a little bit more thought put into it with that regard.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, that was a rant. Sorry, guys.
No, like I agree with everything you said. Like it's just really hard, like seeing how the potential of like money and like glory can kind of like suck somebody's fun out of things. Like when something ends up becoming your job, like it's hard to kind of see like the silver lining and everything.
Yeah.
And like I said, just like on a local level, it's just like it hurts. Like I understand when you're on like the big stage and like in MVD's case where he lost like $16,000 to a man commanding onions.
You
like
rage
like,
totally.
Yeah, that'll ruin you.
18,000.
Yeah.
I said 16,000 as a guess, but I looked and it was 18,000.
I just want to say that my first job that I had for 5 years of my life, I was traveling the world, or not the world, I was traveling the U.S., excuse me. Traveling the U.S. a lot, like every couple weeks I'd be somewhere in a different state, and I made $24,000 a year. And it's interesting when you really think about that. You have a year's worth of work, and obviously it's not easy to win a Smash tournament with top talent there, obviously. Someone's going to do it, though. And it's just sort of eye-opening to me. Like, it's obvious that would take a toll on anyone because that's a whole comfort level. And if you feel like you can't attain it and you feel like you should, then you start harboring some bitterness. And that's the shit that works the other way.
Yeah, it's just it's hard to watch, and like I see it more with certain people, and I think a lot of it is like that's I use it as a joke a lot, but like that's definitely a personal problem at that point.
Yeah,
I was about to say it really.
I would like to take a minute to talk about Thunder Smash though. I just try to think if I joined the scene right now, like how receptive would things of people be? Like if I fail, roast me, or if I fail, or if I try to succeed, or if I try to change that. It seems like they're trying to make genuine efforts to improve. So I think we should like be a little more like
definitely embrace
open
that.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, it's no question the scene needs money, like a lot. So there is that aspect.
The scene needs. We need more Sky Williams on a green screen doing whatever the fuck he was doing.
That's what I want to fund, man. But that's why I stress all the time when I'm running events. I make it my main objective to treat every tournament like it's somebody's first tournament because first impressions are very valuable, and you don't want to rub someone the wrong way because they may never come back.
So I think that's a kind of a good transition point because Rickles, you just hosted a really good event this weekend. But before I do that,
I was just gonna say I was gonna also transition into that by being like, if you have a positive mindset on certain things, i.e., when your controller breaks and you have to use 3 different people's controllers to win the fucking tournament,
that's an understatement. More than 3 for sure.
Yeah, everybody got second out of whatever Shoyo James.
Yeah, but it comes to fruition.
So go right ahead, Chris. You may transition.
Well, I just wanted to thank Rickles for hosting the tournament for our boy to go win some money. That's all. That's all I wanted to say.
It's all going to porn, man. It's all going to porn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And orbs.
That's like $900 of porn.
But Rickles, take us through this one because I don't know, dude. It's funny because I feel like Hitpoint, which is your baby, Hitpoint Tournaments, kind of popped up a little later in the lifespan of Smash 4. And honestly, I feel like every event I see you host over there, dude, like it pops off. And this was no exception. How many entrants did you have?
233 for singles plus spectators, so 250 was the cap that we met.
Dang,
Nice.
that is so cool. And then it looked like, I unfortunately didn't get to watch a lot of it because I was streaming all weekend, but it looked like a great tournament. I was able to catch the end of the set. I was listening to it like a sports cast as I was driving home from Platinum Star, and basically just listening to well, first of all, let me just say it's amazing that you're able to run these like 300-man regionals in like a day. like that is crazy, because I know it was getting late towards the end of the night, so people get a little delirious, and then I don't know, James's stamina, especially with Chrom in this game, is insane because it's literally the only character he uses. And then James goes from getting 3-0'd in, what was it, winter semis he played, 8-bit? Yeah. And then goes to 6-0'ing him in a very with great, what's the word I'm looking for? But yeah,
he fucked him up.
Yeah, he fucked him up. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Keep in mind, reminder: James was using somebody else's controller again because his pro controller broke again.
Yeah,
he got ML's controller for the end of the tournament.
And it's funny because he even made the tweet about it, like, man, everyone thinks it's just the Johns about my controller breaking, and it's bullshit. Everyone's calling me out.
Pro controllers definitely do suck. I use pro controllers, so I know, but I don't know. You really have to get lucky with them. That's all I can say.
I didn't know that the RNG was that bad on them.
The control stick is horrible. That's really everything else about it is amazing. The control stick is horrible.
That's it. Yeah.
That's a
I've been playing Ultimate Pro Controller since the game came out, and I love it so much. But my controller easily has drifted now to the point where it costs me stocks in games, so it's unfortunate.
This is now the part where we plug our boy Evil, who is the pro con mod god or something like that. To that extent.
Yeah, check him out.
He's he does C stick mods and controller stick mods on
power switches.
Yeah, power switches to make these things easier. So definitely hit up Evil, man. He's one of the few people I've seen that can and Shin who can successfully work on these pro controllers and kind of understand what's going on, because these things are not easy to work on.
Yeah. But what else? What else can you tell us about Midwest Arena? Because I know you have a really good venue over there, Rickles, and I want to make sure this gets a little bit of light, at least on this part, because quite honestly, it's kind of nice just to see some integration between the scenes. And I know this is kind of how we opened up today. We've talked about this a few times, and now we kind of get to see a little bit of that in action, even just with James visiting.
Yeah, back when even Mezzi was around in Illinois, we found this venue, Entertainment, and it's straight up. It used to be called Level 257, but it's a Pac-Man theme, barcade. It's got 3 tournament rooms, 8 bowling lanes, 150 arcade machines, and it's actually literally connected to the biggest mall in the state, which James loved because he spent $250 in the mall.
Classic.
Honestly, the venue is everything I could ever want it to be, because it's 20 minutes from my house, 20 minutes from O'Hare Airport, which is one of the best airports to fly into in the country. So, in terms of price wise, you're not flying to the West Coast, you're flying to the Midwest, and Chicago itself is in the dead center of the Midwest, which is really nice. So we started the series as Retro Arena, and after I saw the attendance be incredibly Midwest biased, because obviously it's not saying Midwest bias is you think is reasonable, but no. Usually Illinois events are biased. This straight up has Midwest coming in numbers. We had 4 Michigan cars, 3 Wisconsin cars. St. Louis loves to come out. Minnesota comes out because of Yeti. So it's quite it's one of my favorite things. So that's why we kind of rebranded to Midwest Arena, to actually just kind of thrive on that, because after Players Ball Midwest, which EMG and Match Ketchum brought out at the same venue, we're man, I love how much the Midwest comes together. It's a little reunion every time we host these things.
And that's right in the same vein as that sort of organic homegrown thing, because the Midwest, you guys basically have Unrivaled that has a fantastic weekly in Ignition, and then they run the show on a lot of the bigger regionals out there. They've done really good for themselves getting the sponsorships even from Nintendo. I believe, what's it, Frostbite, and is Smash and Splash also sponsored by Nintendo?
It's Frostbite and Big House, not Smash and Splash.
But Frostbite is for sure.
Yes, Frostbite and Big House.
So it's you kind of have that bigger scale thing over there, and then you kind of have your more community stuff, as you mentioned, Rickles, that you have all these carpools coming from everywhere, not necessarily because there's the high stakes at the tournament, but because it's a good opportunity for regional action that kind of includes multiple people. And that's something we've been sort of fortunate with even in the Atlantic Northeast, where we get a lot of the tri-state guys out for Smash purposes, which include New York, New Jersey, Philly, even though it's not a state. And then, and then we get a lot of the New England guys, which include Connecticut, which is technically tri-state IRL, but we don't have to talk about that. And then
fill in our quota once an episode, baby.
dude, you know I have to. And then, and then you have like Massachusetts. So we get to see these guys on the regular, and I would almost go to say that like we're spoiled with that regard. And then realizing that you guys like, maybe a short plane trip away doing the same thing, it really starts to paint a really, really cool picture in terms of like what the scene can look like and sort of does end up looking like. And I've seen Hitpoint now flex that multiple times over. So that's that's pretty cool, man. And by the way, hold on, I'm kind of just realizing this thing has a view that I can use. This place looks incredible.
Yeah, I was in there earlier today actually to just finalize some stuff for something I'm gonna announce tomorrow. So that's gonna be pretty cool.
This is like, so is this just like a Dave and Buster's, but like it's like Pac-Man's church
better.
or something?
Pac-Man's church.
It's Dave and Buster's, but connected to a better mall and has more stuff.
All right, well, fuck. If I ever find myself in the Midwest, I'll
I know where I'm going. Check out the sushi too. This looks fantastic.
Also, on the bottom floor, like in the main entrance, there's like a tower. There's like a statue of Pac-Man, like, and there's like a bunch of Pac-Man FAQs, and it's nice.
Is this like Pac-Man's palace before you have to like steal his heart or something?
Because the venue actually is owned by Bandai Namco, which is really cool.
Yo, that's awesome. No way. Oh yeah, there it is. Check it out. I can see it on the website.
Yeah, I remember there was a time, I don't remember which one we were hosting, but Rick said that the head of Bandai Namco came and saw a poster of one of the tournaments he was hosting, and he was like, "This is a good idea."
Damn, dude, that's actually really freaking cool. I gotta hand it to you.
That's why this time around we got medals and trophies.
Yeah, I think I saw some of that. I'll see if I find the pictures. Yep. All right, let's see here.
They might be on Twitter. I think we got James in there. If not, then I'm an idiot for not posting that one, because we definitely got some photos. We did post them. I know we did. No, we didn't.
I'll definitely find them. But for anyone interested in the actual tournament results, they are as follows here. You see James taking first, 8-Bit Man taking second, kind of after taking a beating of Extreme Prejudice. That's what I was looking for earlier from James.
James plot armored first. I don't know what you're talking about. He didn't take first. He plot armored first.
Yeah.
James.
Yeah, seriously.
Like Yeti and Ned, like those weren't sets. Those were robbery.
Yes. Oh no, but frame by frame, I watched the Yeti set, was like, yeah, Yeti died at 50% from a forward smash, but he was spamming up B. I think if he did neutral air dodge, that could have been a different set.
Yeah. Disappointed, but not surprised.
Yeah, but who the hell knows that Crom's gonna F smash you from jabbing you at the ledge at 50?
Yeah, F smash so much that set, man. I
fucking hate James so much. Like, I love watching James do well, but like I watch these poor unsuspecting souls like F smashed by Crom, and I'm just like, oh, you should have watched the VODs.
Yeah, you just don't know. James is you're right. James is the most plot armor ever. It's cahoots, but I mean he brings it. But in either case, there you go. Yeah, but in either case, looks like a great tournament. This weekend in general was pretty good for events. I know I don't have the tourney recap section like I usually do, but I know there was something in New England. I already forget the name.
Ultimania.
Yeah. So that's that. And then we have
shout outs to Temper for hosting events on my fucking birthday, because otherwise I would have definitely gone. But it's all good. Shout outs to Mars for winning again and beating Rafi again.
It's actually fortunate how things worked out in that way. Is that Mars was actually for Midwest Arena, and he ended up bailing for Ultimania, which is the reason that we got James.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
that'll work out. Yeah, shout outs to Ultimania for having these belts. That's fucking sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely cool.
So cool. So maybe next time don't host an event on a day where I was birthed into the world. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a holiday. You can't work on that day. I'm
not bitter. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean we're wrapping up some tournament recap results here, and I'm always a little modest to advertise our own here, but the reality is this was a 100-man bracket, and it was a pretty stacked bracket at that, so I do want to make some mention of it. You'll see the likes of the Great Gonzalez winning over one of Philly's probably two of Philly's best players here, Blazing Pasta and Juice. I think Juice being number what is
Juice
he?
is number one.
He's
I
number
think
one.
He's number one. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Pasta is definitely a top 5, if
I
not
think
top like
he-
3.
I think-
I think the only reason Pasta isn't number one is because he doesn't enter as much stuff.
Yes, I think you're
Yeah.
right about that. And then Christmas,
Yeah.
who did win the Arcadian, coming in 4th, which I think is a really cool story, personally, busting out the cloud and even taking a game, even though he lost right after.
That's my guy.
Dark Matter consistent as ever at 5th. Leon still in the ranks despite, not being as high up as he was last season. And then the surprise of Wishes, who actually went down the Dark Matter early in bracket and then 6th. Yeah, it was a really interesting tournament. And
I'm
we
sure
got
he was thrilled about that.
yeah.
No, he says he's not playing the game until Smash and Splash.
Well, that'll do it.
I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a little bit of a prompt for the mentality stuff because, I hate to see people get down after losses, but they do happen. Wishes has been so prominent early in the game. Some you go through highs and lows, and that's just how it is. But
I feel like he's just gonna practice it on the DL, and I don't think there's a problem with that.
I don't know, man.
Not
He
at
said
all.
he gave Jack his Switch, so I don't know.
I think
I don't think he's not going to play at all. He's not stupid.
nothing wrong with the reset. I gotta tell you, and he's
Yeah,
found.
I definitely like support the whole like, oh, I don't feel like playing for like 3-4 weeks because like I did that so much in Smash 4.
Yeah,
and, like some of my best results were off of me like not playing the game for like a month. Like,
Oh yeah, that helps.
I don't remember like I remember I went to Frostbite and then not this year but last year I went to Frostbite and then I didn't play the game until like there was like an ignition like right before the Midwest Mayhem that had the New England or Europe come out to it, and I had not played the game since Frostbite, and then I just came and I beat all of Europe, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, by the way, guys, I haven't played this game in a month. Like,
Yeah, sometimes you need that like reset to kind of like get your mind straight, and like it's like what Mezzi said. Like I'm not as like skilled as a competitor as people that like take this way more seriously than I do. But even I find that I play a lot better when I'm like just taking it easy, playing some other games. Picked up Spider-Man over the weekend. That game's great, by the way. Haven't played it yet.
de-stress. Like this part of the game is like part of the game is outside the game. Like,
Yeah, that is the truth, friend.
Yeah, and I feel like if there's a tournament you're gonna want to drown at, as we can.
Yes, good transition.
If there's ever a tournament to drown at, why not it be one with a pool and alcoholic drinks you can drown in?
Oh baby.
I'm glad we got
I was
Rickles here for this, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh
so
baby.
I wanted to do this because this seemed to like really work when we talked about Summit. Like as Summit was kind of on its way up, and we kind of discussed different storylines and things moving towards it, and Smash and Splash looks like it's on its way to be this big thing. Because when you kind of look at the calendar,
The largest.
there really
Smash
isn't
tournament.
anything like super big up until Smash and Splash. Like I guess Get on My Level, like depending on how many people want to show up. Because I've seen Gommels that have like been A tiers, and then I've seen Gommels that are C tiers. So that's gonna be, but that's obviously I think that's the weekend before Smash and Splash. So I don't like. So the big thing that happened this weekend is that Smash and Splash what did they announce how the pool formats are gonna run this year?
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
different. So
it's way different.
yeah, I was gonna ask. I mean, Rickles, how familiar are you with this? I kind of want to let you take the lead on this one since you kind of know the lay of the land over there very well. All I know is that there is what is it? What kind of a Swiss bracket format?
Swiss waterfall, yes. The day before this video premiered, the main ultimate TO, the head TO, Jash from Minnesota, very solid TO all around. You'll see
That's
it
my
in some
guy.
of the arenas, yeah. He sent me the video link just to review to see if we could cover anything, any misunderstandings. So I watched it a couple times and let him know if anything, just so I can understand it as well, so I can explain it to players when they ask me what it's all about. And it looks like they're going to do Swiss, which is, in my opinion, better than round robin in many ways because it's going to lead to less tiebreakers, less situations where if you lose one set, you still drown because there are like three-way tiebreakers. Like when you're doing Swiss, you're paired up with players like right there, like the little circle that you are. You pair up with players that have the same record as you. So you play round one, and if you win, you play someone that wins. If you lose, you play someone that loses, and so on and so on. So say that there's 32 pools, and the pools are going to have like 30 to 50 players. They're going to do it for PM and Melee too. And there's like 32 pools where, say there's 50 players, the top 13 don't drown. So that's like essentially 416 players that don't drown and 800 that do. So of the 13 players, say the middle one's a 7 seed right there, or whatever, the very top player in the pool who took no losses or has the best record will be in Division 1 at the very far right. So that means he's already in the top 64 winners, where the rest of them had to fight to get top 64 losers through Division 3 and Division 2, which are double elimination brackets on Saturday. So all of Friday is going to be Swiss, all of Saturday is going to be double elimination, and then Sunday will be top 8.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It's super unique because this is and this is a very large scale tournament, mind you. So I think this is probably the first time we've ever really seen a different format outside of the usual double elimination, just seeded bracket, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I'm not sure if if anyone has like a tournament in mind that did something different like this, but this is definitely the first time I've seen it, or at least most notably.
I'm trying to think, like, I know, wasn't there like a major tournament recently that ran round robin duels? Does that come to Papa that ran round robin?
Yeah, just last weekend, where Sam Sora notably got second seed in his pool to destroy Myron.
Yeah, that was bad. And that's kind of like the one thing I'm not like a huge fan of round robin pools for, is that there's a lot of like obviously like bracket manipulation is one thing. Like I've seen that multiple times where like somebody will just like purposely drop a set just to be like, okay, because even like the games you lose in round robin are very important. And I think there's a glitch that I went to that ran round robin, and it was strange. I was very confused. But
yeah, I remember Go ahead.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that this makes like a lot of sense. Like, I think it's like what Rickles said earlier. Like, I think what the main goal people want to get out of this is that like you're at a tournament at a water park, and you want to get the most enjoyment out of these can. So like I feel like, in my opinion, the most fun that I can get at a national, or like when I go to nationals, like how many sets do I get to play before I get to like go on with my life?
Right,
and I
2,
feel like
3? Nah.
Yeah, like I feel like this is gonna give people like you said, a way bigger opportunity to be able to like play more games and like, you know, lay back. I think the stakes are gonna be like a lot lower. People can kind of just like, you know, de-stress and have fun, because like I think the big thing about Smash Splash has always been like the comfort level. Like it's super inviting, and I'm very upset that like literally everybody in the state of New Jersey is going except me. I fucking hate my wisdom teeth.
And this year around is their year to go. They're actually gonna have and 150 plus ultimate setups.
So, mama.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna get free entry to next year's by winning Mario Party again.
yeah,
that's the other thing that I was like super excited about. Sorry to cut you off there, Chris.
I was gonna say the same thing about the side events. So go on.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I love to say that overnight is like amazing at Smash and Slash.
That's actually my main role this year. Is I'm the overnight TO. I'll be running 3 games Friday night. I'll be referring to the Platinum Star Mario Party tournament for some overlays and stuff.
Yes, go for it, man. I actually love those
Mario
overlays.
Party.
We're streaming it this time?
That's the plan. We want to make it more memorable.
All right, I'm about
Sure.
to say, because like I was like the only guy left when I won. It was just like everyone already left, and I was like, well, this is something.
Never forget the fabled Platinum Star party that never finished.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
We don't talk about that, but it's fine. Yeah, I think that's so cool. Like, I love events that like are not afraid to take risks with their side events, because I can speak for a good chunk of everybody when I can say that the crew battle overstayed its welcome for a long time. And while I think Squad Strike is also a fantastic like side event, it's like it's like putting hot sauce on a sandwich. Like, it just kind of changes things up a little bit. But like having these like outlandish like side events, like I think I've heard rumors of like Super Mario Strikers and Mario Party and like all these other things. Like, I feel like more tournaments need to do things like this. Like, if your tournament like if other I'm just using like other like Nintendo endorsed tournaments in general, like if Genesis had like a Mario Party side event or like, you know, other stuff, like that would attract so many people, because people like there are people that are crazier than we are in New Jersey that take this game seriously. And stuff like that. Like,
And
we're
then-
actually playing party games.
You could get a famous moment out of this. Actually, this was this
so
was like
good.
this is the most Gonzalez thing to ever happen.
Yeah.
I'll just let it play for a bit.
Chance time was a mistake.
Well, yeah,
I'm telling you though, look at those overlays there. It's pretty sick. Tells you who's playing what character. It's pretty dope.
thanks, man.
That's why we'll never get Waluigi in Smash, because his down B is going to be Chance time. His counter's gonna be chance time world.
Oh my god.
Like, you would see them in the picture, but like, yeah, this is gonna be so much fun.
Gons. Oh baby.
Dude, look at it's like Gon's already. It's like
Oh man, he's already his head's down. He's like, oh man.
Dude,
They already know.
dude, Gon's already knows too. He was smiling before he even started. It's disgusting. I don't know how he does this. He keeps getting away with it though.
Oh no.
This is the biggest pop up, dude. The Gon's jumping. Oh my god, this is the best.
Look at that deficit. 5 stars to 0 stars. Look at that.
Dude, they were getting wrecked this whole game.
No, Gons.
That was so good. Oh my god.
You need the audio for that one.
Yeah, this is really good. Look at him jump. He's so happy.
Oh my god. This for me, the only like scenario I have that I don't know if it tops this, but it like definitely rivals it. One time, and like Pow Pow is like the most unfortunate soul. When it comes to that. You will never hear someone get so much more unlucky in this game than Pow Pow. He like never wins, but he's always winning. Like he's always winning, but he never wins.
Poor guy.
Like it was one game that we played at Ignition where like Pow Pow was up by like 6 stars. So like by this point he was just bragging because like the game, it was like last turn, game is over basically.
Oh, no.
I get on chance time, and in my head, at least this is the way I think. In Mario Party 6, the roulette is set. Like it's not random at all. It's set. So I got chance time and I was like, well, this is the same as I've always been doing. So Reed is like skeptical. I'm telling him I'm like, bro, I can read the roulette. Like I have power over it. He's skeptical. He's like, bro, whatever. You say whatever. I'm sitting there staring at it for like 10 good seconds. I get the first one, I get the second one. He turns around and he turns around, and then when I get the star swap, I scream so loud everyone in the venue like turned and stared at me, and Reed like started packing up and started to leave.
Oh no!
Why does it always have to be Pow Pow on the last turn?
On the last turn, and that doesn't even like come close to what happened when we were at Frostbite. You know, like
Nothing will ever change that. I swear he sold his game after that.
Oh my god!
Poor Reed.
I don't even feel good about that.
It's already bad enough like manning a low tier and being a ginger. But like, shout out to Reed. I love that guy. Oh my god,
he's fantastic. Playing his low tier.
So,
but
so how do you guys, just on a final note here, how do you think this format affects results of the overall tournament for Ultimate at Smash and Splash?
More consistent.
Yeah, I agree.
Because what is it, round robin? Like there were so many like sort of random first seeds that got out, and it's possible because like, well, the first time, or it might have been the second time that I went to Smash and Splash, sometimes you just get a pool where it's like there's one killer, there's the first seed, and then everyone else is just going to lose. So like the last set that's played could be someone that can pull an upset, but only against that one first seed. Like last year at Smash and Splash, Kozer took a game off of Komorikiri, and I was just like, bro, like what's going on? Like if he wins this, he gets out first seed, but he lost to other people. So it's like it's just random. Like you could beat the first seed and then lose to one other person. First seed gets out like third seed, and you get out first seed, and like stuff like that. And it definitely is not like super consistent, because this kind of speaks to that, where it's like you only play against people that are in the same like wave as you. Like you're not playing against everyone. You're only playing against someone that won twice, someone that lost twice. So it seems like more like a traditional bracket in that sense, but still it's still like pools.
Yeah, I think the big thing people want to look for, like just in general, the game is consistency. Because like I brought it up a couple of podcasts ago. I don't remember which one, but like you'll eventually get like some pretty consistent results across the board for like 3 or 4 straight weekends, and then you'll get like a CEO 2015 where shit hits the fan and Zenodo's playing in grand finals or something like that. Like no shots at Zenodo, but like it was if you look at the fantasy brackets, he's probably not somebody who's going to be there. And then you can look at the next week and he gets like 25th or 17th or something like that. I feel like this is just going to make things a lot more consistent, like Mezzy said. Like, it's going to give some people some leeway. like your favorite player can lose a set in pools and like they can still like get 5th place at the end of the weekend. Like it's gonna, I feel like it's just gonna like the cream's gonna rise to the top, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. And maybe it'll carry over into some other events. I know that Jash is national staff for a lot of events. I've worked with him tons of times, and he's fantastic at what he does, and I trust his judgment more than I trust some people in my family. So
yeah, that was my next question that you already addressed. Was like, I just wonder if we'll expect to see this work out and then have other tournaments do it, because this is about as big of a case as you can have it. Smash and Splash having let me get the actual number currently signed up. It's something in the thousands. Currently has 1,244 players. So this is definitely about as good as an example and place to start it than ever. So I'm looking forward to that personally.
And just a quick note on that, like if it can be ran effectively, like here with over 1,200 people, because doesn't SmashCon already have like 1,500 people signed up or something like that, or like something's crazy?
I didn't see, but probably had was a lot. They had that like 50 entry, get a free hoodie. Yeah, I signed up myself and Seth on the same.
Yeah, venue's like hella fucking expensive for SmashCon already, but I read for Shine, so
give me my hoodie, please. I want it.
Yeah, but I guess got anything else to add before we move on out of here?
No, I think that's I think we kind of covered a lot today. It was a good day.
Yeah, there was a lot. So I guess this is a part where we go around the circle and we plug ourselves. So I guess I'll go first because I'm already talking. So you can follow me on Twitter at KoopaNJ, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know. Again, I don't remember. I think I'm seeing Detective Pikachu this weekend. Go see Detective Pikachu.
Oh yeah, that's out this weekend.
Yeah. There we go. There's something to do. There we go.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that movie so far. So maybe it'll take some of the pain out of Sonic's human teeth out of my cornea.
Well, I almost
yeah, they're doing a redesign.
Yeah,
so we don't know if he's gonna have human teeth for long.
Yeah, whatever. It's gonna make it look. No, watch them make Eggman like less or something like that.
They can't make it look.
It's like, hey guys, I don't know, man. I'm just fucking. I'm jaded.
They're gonna do a thing where they redesign all the characters. Sonic is gonna look he's gonna look better. No human teeth. His eyes will be better. And then like instead of Jim Carrey as Robotnik, it's gonna be like
Doug Walker from the fan movie.
Yeah, it'll just be like I don't know.
Nostalgia critic.
But yeah, so I'll go next. So you could follow me at CSantoZX on Twitter. Coming at you with all of the greatness of New Jersey local Smash, I guess, for the most part, and some other stuff. But where can they find you, Zone?
You can find me at Zone1P. My Twitter is basically an enigma. Like one day I'm a competitor, one day I'm a philosopher. So if you like a taste of random, you can give me a follow.
The duality of life. And I feel like, saving the best for last for this particular week is Rickles. First of all, thanks for joining us, man. It's actually really cool getting your insight. And just a little spoiler here, not necessarily a big spoiler, but there'll be info out on this a little bit soon. But I know we'll be working together probably within the next month or so. So that I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's been long overdue for me to actually come to.
Yeah, dude.
In the books pretty soon. Yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at I am Rick, and in my bio you'll see my organization at HP_tournaments. We'll be making an announcement tomorrow, and then if you tune into the stream right now or the stream on Saturday from West Arena, where James won, we had a lot of excellent graphics done. I know we have Boat in the chat right now. Boat does amazing logos. I know New England knows how well Boat does because I think she did the New England PR, which is really fantastic as well. And then Crafter Century, who did overlays. So shout out to my team at Hitpoint Tournaments. And then keep a lookout on their Twitter tomorrow for an announcement regarding more events locally. And then maybe see me in Tri-State next month. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see, shan't we? Yeah, so that's all we got for you today, guys. As usual, if you enjoyed this kind of stuff, you like the Smash discussions, or you're learning something, or good info in here for a friend, whatever, be sure to share, be sure to like, even just click on the VOD, hook us up with some views. I'm always pretty excited to get feedback. It doesn't always come in plenties, but the feedback I do get is always super helpful. So even if there's a topic that you think of, or could imagine might be interested in, or just whatever. we're pretty easy to reach. You could, you know, at Master Hand Games is the Twitter at. You could always add us. Our Discord servers are linked on everything. It's linked on our YouTube. It's linked below this broadcast. All that stuff. So be sure to follow the things. You know, follow, like, subscribe, click the notification bell, yada yada. Appreciate you guys, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I don't know what we're talking about next week. This might be another slowish weekend since college is winding down and finals and all that kind of stuff, but I'm sure there's always going to be something. Seems that way.
Tune in next week for our Detective Pikachu in-depth review.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I could get on board with
Think
that.
outside the box a bit.
I could get on board with that. So thanks everybody for watching. We will catch you next week.
Thank you.
Tony Stark dies.
Oh, no.
What?
Those